And welcome to this live event. I'm Paul, founder at Javelin Content Management Limited. I'm here to share with you some of the frustrations that I feel as a business owner creating content that I'm sure a lot of you will also suffer from the same challenges and problems. And I'm also going to share with you how I combat those problems live on air. Because it's a live stream, it's important that we get interaction from you in the audience. So feel free, as I'm talking, to kind of shout out things that you agree with, things that you don't agree with, and I'll keep coming back to the chat feed and just making sure that we give shout outs to everybody that's out there. It's a great opportunity for some networking. Lots of business owners will be joining us in the various streams. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, well, X, right? We're live across all of those. Feel free to introduce yourself, share your link, and let's do some networking whilst we're talking about this. But absolutely on the topic of content creation being tiring and exhausting, please do share with me some of the challenges that you have and maybe some of the ways that you've been able to combat the problems that were there. So first up, what do I mean by content? Because it means something different to everyone. If you're heavily involved in the industry, you'll know that it's often referred to by whichever industry that person works in. So if you're a copywriter, content is written content. That's what they mean by that. If you're a video editor or a videographer, they're always talking that content is video. But actually, content is much broader than that. It's everything that you produce that talks about your brand, your personal brand, your business, your message, whether you're on video, whether you're on audio for a podcast, whether you've got written content in there, blogs, SEO, even emails, right? All of this can be classed as content for your business. When I tend to talk about content, I focus predominantly, as do a lot of my colleagues, on specifically social media, because that's the bit that tends to be a little bit disconnected from your day-to-day work. We find it, entertaining for personal reasons, but for work reasons, it tends to be the last sort of thing that we want to be involved with. And it's also can be the most demanding part of content creation. How does it feel to create content? But the vast majority of business owners out there, business leaders, CEOs, consultants, business coaches, public speakers even, creating content is tiring. You just want to be able to get on with your daily routine, right? You didn't start a business to post on social media every day, or the vast majority of you watching probably didn't. But most business owners also acknowledge that the power of social media, personal brand, short form video content, podcasts are incredible. And the transformation that they can have on your business is undeniable. There are so many, just have to look at the likes of Stephen Bartlett, who does incredibly well through his very clever use of social media, podcasts, books, and all those sorts of things. So for those of us who never set out to go that route, we all find that actually it seems like a good idea in principle, but sitting down to create the content every single day, writing all the posts out for all the various social media channels, the emails to go out that back that up. If you're doing a webinar, there's the plethora of content that you need, images to support it, actions, thumbnails, emails to go out to email lists to tell people about the event, the act of inviting people, considering what to talk about. Once you've even recorded the event, you then got to clip up the video. Do you turn it into reels for your social media channels? Can you get some quotes out of that? How do we get a blog out of it? The list just never goes on. So it never ends, even. Never goes on, never ends. And as a business owner who's heavily involved in that space, I feel it too. Like I'm with you. And the amount of business owners who are involved in the digital marketing space who want me or people that I know to help them with their own content because they're too busy focusing on client content is, it's proof that we all face the same challenges. And it's tiring, it's exhausting, it's draining, and it takes you away from the parts of your business that you're passionate about doing. Now, the thing about your passion and your why is it's what gets you out of bed every day. It's what gets you to work. And people think it's family, or think it's the salary that you take home at the end of the month. It's not. What keeps you in the business and why you started the business is those little moments throughout the day where your heart races and you're really excited in what you're doing. You reach that flow state. That's exactly why you started the business. And you need to be doing more of those, not less. But by creating content, generally, people are taking themselves away from that. And certainly when your process isn't efficient and your workflows aren't efficient, it becomes even more tiring and time consuming and exhausting. So if you're an exhausted business owner who wants to do more with social media, wants to do more with their website, wants to do more with content in general, hopefully you've come to the right place. So what are the reasons why people find it exhausting, in my experience? And I appreciate in the comments, people feel free, put in your own comments in there. I'd love to hear from you about what it is that you find exhausting, what it is that you struggle with, what is it, specifically that you just don't want to do. This isn't a business pitch. This isn't me selling to you. I want to help you today get something off your plate that makes you more efficient and allows you to get back on with the bits of your day that you really enjoy. So in my experience, it first of all starts with not having a plan or an efficient strategy. People attack content as it comes to their desk, as it lands in their inbox, and they react to things that are coming up. They don't create their whole marketing strategy around efficient content creation. We'll sit there at the desk on a morning, the email drops in to remind us that the webinar that we were meant to be producing is next week. Can you create some email copy to send out to the newsletter list? Or perhaps you've set yourself a reminder for some of that. And then you start creating it. And then while you're on, you think, oh yeah, actually I need to create the thumbnail image that goes with that. And before you know it, your Monday mornings took 3 hours to produce all of these bits and pieces of content that you weren't planning on doing. There's also a little bit about we attack these things as they drop into our inbox, as they get thrown to us, as we notice they need doing, as opposed to when it's best for us to work on them. Now, throughout the day, each of us have our own creative cycles and energetic cycles. And I'm not going to get all fluffy with you all here, like we're all the same. We all have these moments during the day where we're either at a point where we can really brainstorm things really well, where we've got that mental clarity, that mental focus and the energy to do it, but we actually don't feel like doing the work. We've got other points of the day where we're much more likely to do the actual work and we just don't want to think about things. We just want to get on with things. So what I also say is there's a little bit about trying to do these sorts of things at the wrong time of day for you. And it is very specific to you. What works for somebody else might not work for you. So experiment is going to be part of my next part of the conversation, where we talk about how you can change things. Definitely look at when you're doing things, or what type of topics and subjects you're working with, and when you're doing them. The next thing I'm going to look at is location. Not everybody works best in the house or in the office. Some people work better out there in the field, on a walk, or in a cafe. You might want to take it to your local Wetherspoons pub and do some of it while you're at you've got a meal at hand and you just want to sit there and work on your own. The point is, everybody works better in a different environment. And how your environment's set up can also impact on how well you work in general, not just on content. Lastly, it's about mindset. And a lot of people I speak to, when I talk about content, first thing that happens is, and then the internal talk starts, right? I'm not good at creating content. I'm not a copywriter. I haven't got a face for TV. I haven't got a voice for radio, right? All these sorts of things that people say to me. And it comes from imposter syndrome, and it comes from that inner monologue that we have to deal with. And, that board of directors that sits within our head and tells us what to do on a daily basis. You've got to examine, is the right person in charge in there? And are they helping me or are they hindering me? Each of those traits that we have in our personality talk to us at times. And I'm not talking about hearing voices here, people. Fuck. I'm not that mad. I am mad, but I'm not that mad. But it's about understanding what trait is currently talking to me, and are they being healthy or they've been unhelpful, and acknowledging that. Sometimes that's all it takes. But you've got to be in a position where it doesn't feel like a chore to be producing stuff. So what do we need to do differently if we're going to overcome all of these challenges and get back to a point where, and here's where I want you to be in a couple of months' time. If you're going to put these things into practice, I want you to be able to sit at your desk, wherever that is, or not, as case may be, wherever you're going to create your content. And I want you to feel energetic, enthusiastic, and motivated about creating that content. I want you to know this is going to be really efficient. I just need to get this bit done, and then the rest of the day is mine to do all those things that I set out to do in the first place. To feel happy about creating it, feel proud that you've done it, and to see the results that come off the back of creating all that fantastic content. Because you can do it. I do it right now. I need to keep remembering that I've got this mic on here. I do it now for 2 businesses plus all my clients. It is possible to do. Yes, I'm ADHD. Yes, I can multitask. Yes, I'm experienced. Yes, I've got the right workflows and the right tools. The point is, so can you. I'm nothing special. I've just put the time and effort into learning how to do it effectively. And that's the bit that everybody avoids. So today we're going to have a talk about how we can do that. So first up, create a plan. Everybody attacks, right, if we take social media for an example, everybody wants to write a post every day for LinkedIn. We sit down at the desk, tapping our hands on the keyboard, trying to think about what it is we should be writing about today. Am I wrong? Everybody does it. We all do it. And that's approaching writing content from needing inspiration. But what if you could get the inspiration first, write the content when you're ready to write it, and have it ready to go? And that's where I come to it from. So first up, if you're doing it every single day, that's going to take mind energy from you, right? Like it's exhausting switching from writing content to running the business, opening emails. That's hard to do. What you want to do is you want to box off some time in your week, not at a time where you're going to procrastinate on it. It's a golden hour or so where you're going to work hard on the content like you would any other project, and experiment with where that hour or 2 goes in your week. But before you get there, what you need to be doing is considering your audience. So a lot of people I speak to fall into that trap of making content for the people who have the same job title as them, who are in the same industry as them, but aren't necessarily their clients or ideal clients or their ideal audience. You know, maybe you're not even selling. Maybe you just want to reach a particular audience and inform them. So consider who those people are that you really want to reach. Not the people that like and engage, not the people that comment on your posts, not the people you know in your network. The people, maybe you're not even connected with them, the people that you really want to help in some way. And consider their problems and challenges. And how does your knowledge and your expertise translate into helping them? So think about, half a dozen different topics that you could talk about all day long. When somebody gets you cornered in the pub or wherever, like, what could you talk about forever? Because that's your subject expertise, right? So for me, I'm really super passionate about education. I'm super passionate about leadership. I'm super passionate about my newfound ADHD and how that impacts on my family and how I see that in the world around me. But I'm also super passionate about helping people. That's my why. And that's the core of why I started the businesses that I have. I want to help people make better decisions. So a lot of my content focuses around me offering advice to people about how they can make better decisions related to certain subjects. So you've now got your list of things that you're super passionate about talking about. Break those down. There's lots of different content types that you can create. I'm obviously a big advocate for video. I'm a big fan of people creating video content. And the reason I go video first is that video can be transcribed now in this day and age very, very easily and very effectively. Doesn't take a lot of transcribing, doesn't take a lot of fixing when it is transcribed. And that written content then becomes an overarching piece of media that you can use to create thousands of pieces of content for the rest of the month. So here's what you're going to do. Find a topic you can talk about for 30 minutes. Find somebody to help you talk about it for 30 minutes. Put it in your diary, get on camera. Don't worry about using the video, but get on camera and record yourself talking to the other person about that content, about those topics. 30 minutes, that's it. 30 minutes, nothing more. Stop at the end of 30 minutes. Wind it up. Make sure you've got a good, at the beginning, you've got a good acknowledgement to people who are out there, what you're going to be talking about, some of the subjects. And at the end, summarize what it is that you talked about. Tell them what you told them. Take that content, turn it into text through a transcription platform, whether that's Descript or whether it's Otter or Fathom or whoever. And then use that content to then create ideas for you for the rest of the month. So you can create text-based posts, you can create images, you can create polls, you can create for and against arguments. That's actually 2 separate posts potentially. You can ask questions of the audience, pose challenges to them. There's lots of different types of content that can be created. You can send that away and get a blog post created by someone, or you can use ChatGPT to get a baseline and you create that for them. The fact of the matter is, because you're not sat creating topics and themes every day, it's a lot less tiring. And because you've already got those themes set out, you've already got the baseline content there, you can now plan in some time during your week when you're most effective to write the content that goes with that, or to create the content in some way, shape or form, whether it's social media posts, whether it's short articles, whether it's website blogs, whatever that looks like for you. And you'll find that you become much more efficient. Second thing is, keep it simple. Create a checklist as you create things so that every time I do this, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, whatever that is. Make sure you have that in hand. Now, if you're anything like me, you'll create it and then never use it again. That's okay. That's okay, because you've got it down out your head and you'll remember it. You've got it there to refer back to. Other people want to use that every single time they do it. That's absolutely fine as well. But you've got a process now, and you can refine that process. Because you've built one, you can optimize it. And that's the bit that most people never get to. And they never get to optimize it. They never get any faster. They never get any more effective at what they're doing. That's where you need to go. So create your plan, create your workflow, consider who supports you. Is it another business colleague? Is it an employee? Is it a business partner? Is it your wife, your husband, a friend, a stranger? Who knows? But consider that outside support, because they'll see things that you don't. They'll be able to facilitate the conversation better than you on your own until you've got some experience. And then you can stand and talk to a camera like I do for quite a long period of time. Again, this is a live stream. So if you've got any questions, you've got any comments, you've got any challenges, I'd love to see them in the comments. Feel free, even if it's just a shout out that you're there, and I'll give you a shout out on the feed. We've got 20,000 followers here. I'd like to be able to promote some of you out there as well. So we created the plan, got the workflow, we've considered support. Now it's about the right time of day for you. So now that we can bulk create the content that we're going to create, we need to do it at a time of day that suits you. So experiment for the first few weeks. Try it at the time you think it'll work. Try it at the time you don't think it'll work. But make sure that you don't move that time, and experiment with it. Maybe keep a little journal. Some people do, of how effective they felt that was, so they can reflect on that back. And for me, I'm very creative first thing on a morning. I'm very creative midday, just after I've had some food, when I'm feeling a bit lethargic, I don't really want to go out and exercise and stuff. I'll create content then. But there will be a point of the day where you get into a flow and you're much more likely and interested in creating that content. Choose the right location for you. So once you've recorded the video, now the video can be outdoors. It can be in the office, it can be in the home, it can be in the gym. I've seen people do lots and lots of variations of it. But where you edit that content and where you create the written text pieces or the images and things that go with that, or the short reels, that can be entirely up to you. We always get stuck in this way of doing things where I'm going to work where I work, where I work. In this day and age, that's not necessarily true. I get lightning fast 5G signal in the car just outside of the school. So sometimes, I can take the MacBook out there and I can sit and create content while I'm sat, go an hour early to pick my son up from school, and I can sit. I've got 5G connection. It's better than my house broadband sometimes, right? Same for shopping centres, same for cafes, same for restaurants. Or go where your creativity is sparked, or try something different every week and see what works for you. And the very last thing that I have to say on this subject is a positive mindset. Now, I'm not going to claim to be some sort of coaching expert here. I'm certainly not a mindset expert at all. But what I do know is that when we talk negatively about our capabilities, we empower those negative aspects. So if I stand here and say, I'm rubbish at copywriting, I'm not graphically talented, I can't do those things, when I do them, they're rubbish. All that does is reinforce in me that those things for the next time I try and do some of them. So I'm going to propose one switch to how you look at creating content, and this might just be the most important thing out of everything that I say this morning, is, okay, acknowledge that in the past you haven't been very good at these things, but then talk to the fact that you're now trying to do them better, more effectively, and get good at them. Whether you get good at them or not is a different matter. Like that's irrelevant, and it takes practice and it takes experience and it takes time. But what I do know is that if you shift the perspective to a positive one, you are far more open to creating opportunities, creating good content, and selling your business in the way that it should be. So the next time you're sat at your desk and you're sat thinking, I can't write this is rubbish, reframe it even to yourself. Say it out loud. I never used to be writing content that was very good. I was never very good at writing this sort of content in the past, but I'm trying to get better. Oh, that's interesting. My camera's turned itself off. That's very kind of you. Welcome to live, everyone. Let's try that again. Can we get it back? Come on. I am coming. Bear with me, everyone. Oh no. That is new. There we go. I'm back. So, as I was saying, just try that. I used to be rubbish at creating blog articles, but I'm trying to get better. And I'm curious about how I can do blog creation better than what I used to do. I'm curious about what would make me an expert copywriter. And you don't have to have the ambition of becoming a copywriter, but by changing the framing of it, and you will probably already do this in other aspects of your life, right? It usually pertains to the bits that you're really interested in doing. I never used to work with charity sector before, but I'm curious as to how we can work with the charity sector going forwards. I never used to be very good at bookkeeping, but now I'm excellent because I spent the time learning how to do it. I never used to be very good at graphic creation, but I've learned Canva, and actually I think my outputs are much better, and I'm curious how I can do things much better. Try it and let me know what you think. I would love to hear from you if you put any of these principles in practice. I've seen them work time and time again for some great people, and I know that a lot of you out there, busy business owners, micro businesses and independent solopreneurs, all the way up to medium-sized businesses, we all struggle with these same challenges. If you can crack these challenges, then you're onto a winner. You're going to change how you go about things, you're going to change the quality of your content, and you're going to create far more content than you ever did before, which gets you in the public eye and gets people to know, like, and trust you before they'll buy from you. It's a one-to-many relationship that you have here with this content. A one-to-many is valuable. Lots of people waste their time doing cold calls and cold emails without really putting any thought or effort into those things. And they're all one-to-one communications. It takes a lot of effort to make those work. But content, good content, is a one-to-many relationship. You're reaching a lot of good people, a lot of whom will be your ideal audience, and you can educate them about why you are credible in the space you're in, why you're a thought leader, and why they should trust you with their business. And if you try all of that and you're still adamant that you want to create more content, but you're not sure how to do it, let me know. Drop me a DM. We can have a one-to-one consultation strategy session where I can walk you through some ideas specifically for you and your challenges. Or we can look at helping you with video repurposing, where we provide 2, 3, 4, 500 digital files back from one 30-minute video per week, per fortnight, per month, that will activate your personal brand, get you the results that you've been after, and really fast track your business without breaking the bank. I'm Paul, founder at Javelin Content Management. It's been lovely speaking with you all, and I hope to see you again soon.